Hinderaker Hall may not be one of the most well-known buildings on the UCR campus, but it is home to the office of the Chancellor. Last Tuesday, it was also home to more than 100 student demonstrators who vowed to occupy the fourth floor of the building to protest an end to a 3-year tuition freeze. The increases in tuition, students say, would be too much for them to bear. According to protesters, the decision to start the sit-in was spontaneous, with the start of the demonstration located at the bell tower. Students then moved to Hinderaker Hall, where they demanded to speak with Chancellor Wilcox. When the Chancellor did come out to speak, the exchange was testy.
Chancellor Wilcox, the reason why we're here today is because when I met with you across the table, you said you would not reject your salary increase.
Pounding their feet, lifting their signs, and chanting at the top of their lungs, a crowd of student protesters took up residence outside the Chancellor's office. Their motivation? Chancellor Kim Wilcox's support for a proposal that could increase tuition by up to 5% per year for 5 years, which could result in an overall tuition increase by as much as 28%. As the hours ticked by, the sit-ins showed no sign of ending, and UCPD was called on to enter the building around 5 p.m. In the end, protesters departed Hinderaker only under the threat of arrest and after nearly 8 hours of occupation, but they vowed their struggle would continue.
That is when the talks needed to happen. Now it's your turn to listen. I'm sorry.
UC President Janet Napolitano says the increases are necessary to combat, quote, massive state divestment. UC has long stood as a beacon of hope for young Californians, said Napolitano. This plan ensures the UC will stay that way.
So I want all of us to stop, don't think about ourselves, but think about our future. A lot of us have brothers, sisters, cousins. You see little kids in your community playing in your parks. This tuition is going to affect them a lot more. In the past decade, tuition has doubled. So that means by the time my little brother comes here, and if this passes, then it's going to double again. And I'm not sure how, if we're 3 brothers, how we're going to make it throughout college, right? And I think that's the story for many of us. You have little primos, your little cousins, your little brothers, and they're playing the program. So you think about them, right?
And I got accepted to UC San Diego, and I could not go because of the cost. I'm an immigrant student. For 3 years, I worked labor jobs, I worked manual labor. I did taxi driving, I did welding, I did construction, so we get back here.
The protests at UCR mirrored protests held across the UC system, from UC San Diego in the south to UC Davis in the north. Despite the demonstrations, the UC Board of Regents still voted to approve the tuition plan by a vote of 14-7 on Thursday. This has been Colin Markovich reporting for UCR Channel H News.